Good morning, everyone. Today, Sunday, this year last class. 하지랑서 다원이제지 스스랑조치야레스로 나물레 제제 공자.
So for 2 months you're on your own. You can relax and do as you will.
Mancha Sanimala. I saw.
I think so.
Sanima tinda ta manchale. Anzu da kechi judi ta geje mango. Tingyon share lesro.
Yeah.
Kechi judi ta ngaran samalo shidi semi shidi ro. Di ta ngaran samal gugu yoresro. Anda de shidila de chilone druptuya yo maresta semgi shidi se de semgi chowa dewa res shewa dewa chowa susu samlo nala dewa de yormi chilo la di shidila de yo maresro cheza semgi shidi drupdanga gola ne ngazu nangbe shungne da tomajum dende khona da semgi shidi tadu trupson resro di drube taglam de je ngazu ma temba yinza ngazu da di je la ya 네 도구요레스다 대야 수수수수 갈래잡지 네 삼단제 두야를 미시지게 답시신다 개요 말해서
So in the context of the Sunday classes we've had, what's important is that we've talked about the cultivation of mental peace, and this is something we all want. And such a mental peace is not cultivated in terms of external conditions, not at all. The feeling or cultivation of mental peace and bliss is an inner thing, depends on your mental attitude. And in that context of cultivating mental peace, in terms of Buddhadharma, Shakyamuni Buddha accomplished that a final mental peace, and having done so, showed the method or the path by which we can also. And if we follow that, if we put effort into that, it's mostly our mental attitude. If not, there's no attainment.
다 시딜라디 망보지야 그 추측이나 타르바사야들라고 요래서
나를
타르발라디 갈라서는 그 둥일레 타르바들라 타르발라고
Yeah.
다 거기오시나 데레스라.
So we could say, what is this mental peace? It is a liberated state. Liberated from what? It is that we are liberated from suffering. That is it.
다 말한도 단도 편제라 타르바 톱요요 말레스 타르바 찍톱잖아 동해 양자수요 요 말레스라.
We can
먼저라 단다 냠뇨데 중요 말레스.
we can probably say then that we haven't yet obtained to that state of liberation, because if you attain to that state, it's irreversible. You no longer suffer. So we probably haven't experienced that yet.
다음서 내가 그 시디 춘주 타바 춘주인데
Temporarily, what we have experienced is a type of tiny cessation, a similitude.
the same 갈소래. 그래서 남도 뉴르데스도 아니 삼다야 데스 뉴도 아니 저지 밀야 삼상부체 아니 삼바 다 메시지니드나 강에 담으러 연구도 알아. 근데 용에 가둘라 강에 되게 수수 셈바 마투고체 냐tum나 시디 친주지 요레세.
So what we have experienced then, likely, is just less mental constructions. We might have found that we are able to think less, but also we have a warm-hearted attitude to others. And in the context of this life, when you face problems, if you don't get perturbed by them, that's a little bit of mental peace.
다 망고지기 듀얼리그라 하나저 아니 처연나다 등산 점블링 강해래 지도 강해래 수수 게르게 강해래 근데 나나 간데스 두고래다 다 봤어야 돼 시디라는 거 간데스 두고래 와 듀얼리기 어레스타로
Lateral. So then the question comes, in the context of this life, there are difficulties in the world, difficulties in the environment, difficulties that are close at our hand. Looking at all of that, how is liberation obtained?
다 딜라 아니 먼저 다 낭배숑네 셈게 곰잡당 터네 딱 곰잡어야 돼 하장 잡으면 뭐 곰라야 돼 하장 잡으면 버려 아니 딱 먼저 기생 뭐 다리 디나랑 먼저 저 시내 터네 아니 우중을 된배 곰 디시비셔로
Yeah.
다디 나나저 당아데 로죽직 지시대래 나다 아저 무조 나저 삼단다 단네지 가서 감정으로 데 아니 우중디 내가들라 약슈레샤스 탑시 zet다들이샤
So then, in the context of Buddha Dharma, the cultivation of that mental well-being or liberation, the method is meditation. And when we look at meditation, it's a very vast topic. And in the last weeks, we've been looking at the cultivation of calm abiding or shamatha, or using the breath as a focal object of meditation. In the 11 years that I've been here and had some experience dealing with this situation, this culture, I'm a little bit used to it. I think the breathing exercise is the best for us.
콜라지 디네 출루고 있다. 지금 대화 연하다. 심기 강에서라 편도 쉬어라.
Yeah.
아 대화해야 돼. 레라오레면도 이지래야 되러. 이지세야 돼. 레라오레면도 아니. 세상다 욱당을 이지세야 가지고 운당 거러라. 마시서 욱당거라다. 마시서 욱당래다. 욱체스나는 좀 저래.
In that context, the notion of cultivating faith and conviction in one's spiritual path, that's not easy. But if you can do that, it reduces the suffering, but that's not easy to do. But what we do have conviction in is the fact that we breathe. We can recognize that we breathe.
아니, breathing 나라 로디나라 디 쇼지 캡서스라 나디 엘라지요라 이제 검자저저 텐도쇼고라
So, the breathing this year seems to have been the topic, and because there's been so much pollen and allergy, that's been one method to help it too.
나딩선 차와당제 네 당마를 쓰여서 알아 장마 쓰여서
Hopefully the rain will clear all that dust out. Is it?
근데 제가 나는 우리 상당히 수수 쌤디 단단한 저 망고지 수수 우칸했던 게 신기해 말아.
Yeah.
나가 울러 더나 중만도 우 가가지 당기에 수분나 가가지 두고 예매 간대 당기에 어디서 다가라는 때문에 쌤기 내저 두비아스나레 샘플 해보세요스나레 와 안아서다 저연나라 강에로 담는다 가래 주메이나 아니 욱디 말털르제 땅 디간 시바 제 디간에 망부시다 따요 우크라나 신 따요레 우미다 보고메요레 아니 야삼다나 ula denbe 닝제 공야 요래 참바 공야 요래 도야
Yep.
동랭이 냠내도 우크랑 간에 닝제단 참배 냠내데 우크랑 간에 제도 아니 야야야 레스나는 제명도 아니 지 우그 다도서 be 이기 단단라 거야 된데 야 생기네 저 참보든데 렘나 먼저 우그 단단라 이게 니 홍기 랑단데 용다도 나단 되어요 제가 예 빼면시게 내가 전부다 네 편도 전부 해주셔야 돼 가서 주민지 남도로
Mm-hmm.
심나다만 해야 돼 아니 가야게 탑시 야셔야 돼 우그란신나 따투베이나 제레시아스로
Mm-hmm. So then, if one thinks on one's breath, it is good because one might not know how one is breathing. Before, I never used to pay this much heed about my own breath. How long was it? How was it functioning?
Someone heard what?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There, before we have one, what is it, disappear? Oh yeah.
Do you have a story?
It was open, so okay. Yeah, that didn't. Should have savage last. I had new clothes. Okay.
So you here we go. Back to placing the benefits of placing the mind single pointedly on the breathing is that you can focus the mind one pointedly. Secondly, you can relax. But also it's the fact that when difficulties come up in this life, just by being with the breath, it's the nature of things that those difficulties reduce. And furthermore, using breath as a focal object, we can reflect on the nature of the breath, its entity. We can reflect on impermanence, meditations on great compassion, loving kindness. They're all connecting with the breath. But also this practice of taking and giving, we call Tonglen, that rides on the breath. And as you get further into higher states of meditation, where you use sounds or letters to meditate on as reference points, for example, in the tantric systems, the syllables ah, hung, all of that is related to the breath. And so therefore we can see the importance of the breath, secondly, the benefits of it, but really the main point is that by focusing on the breath, it reduces these thoughts we have which are not appropriate, invalid thought.
다 저런서 다 먼저 다원이 두고 말해라. 다원이 학습이 두고 말해. 아니 이제가 계시셔야지. 먼저 대전 숨로. 대전 숨가나 아니 냠내 치투이나 삼단투이나 곰자투이나 아니 오늘 편도 열어서
The next 2 months we'll not see each other. What's important is that there are 3 categories I'd like to mention that we go over in terms of your practice, your reflection, your meditation.
그래서 당보디 수수 셈바디 템보서야 답람 당보디 데려로.
The first method is to cultivate stability of mind.
니버디 아니 미션라 다 닝지 고미야디로.
The second is to cultivate thoughts of compassion to others, other beings.
숨바딜라 다 셰럽 고다로 셰럽.
The third is that we need to cultivate wisdom, intelligence.
어디 숨디 간라다 곰조 냠렌조 디간라 디제 숨 야리에다 돌라니 돌업정체 대블로 곰 잡치기나 아니 시디용고레스다.
Now those 3 principal areas, to increase them, to cultivate them, study, read, meditate, that's it.
다 당보 아니 셈바템바 칸도스 오래로. 셈바템바 칸도스 오래스. 저런데 카시에 드린 사바도가 셈바템보서야라 아니 셈디 다다와 가나 샤야를 베진치야디 약쇼레로.
What then is the method for the first category? to cultivate stability of mind. Some of you are new today. The best method for doing that is to be able to place the mind in the present moment.
다 데라 아니 세상에서 우중을 단다 검자게와 우수되 다 데모고 단다디 지 차바게 다 구도 디강 아니야 팀마든데 거기도나 팀마디 간데 유메 시에버지 안 내가 지기유나 수수 내가 가르치기유와 되거나 맨날 단다라고 있는 아이나 나게지 시에 되거나 상로 당하지 되는 예심지 다다 되고라 지난번에 암전이에 되거나 심되는 다다 되기요라 암전이에 되 레라고 말하고 가디네 nga phuga jebdi 좀 신경마라 아니 다지 거대거라 블라블라블라 되다 아니 차베다 주기다 어디서 간데이메디 하고 와지 되나 심 다다와 가는데 탑시 야시 다가나 레스로
So cultivating the present moment, if it's not awareness of breath, just by simply hearing the sounds of the rain, absorbing the smells that are around, or I will be talking, you will be in the present moment. I will be talking, I'm focused on that, you will be listening. But even that simple thing of listening in the present moment is not easy. I speak Tibetan, for you it sounds like blah, blah, blah. A lot of sound, and then there's the rain and the birds. So just by being able to listen and be present. My Tibetan and the rain sounds exactly the same to you, right? Yeah, when you're meditating, you might hear the dogs bark, and that's all the same. Don't get distracted by that. What we're saying is that if the mind doesn't discriminate, oh, that's good, that's bad, then there's no hallucination, is there? So therefore, when we talk about, accomplish shamatha, here, we're talking about cultivating stability of mind. So that stability of mind is really the mind having stable recall and being able to abide in the present moment supports that function.
모다기 디믹도 가와요 중금인도 알아. 가와 라도 가와 많이. 등산 모다 디믹다. 어디 라도 가와도 많이 강태기도 가르치 않으나 셈베 다야 많다로. 제가 눈에 배나 모다 디믹 가시 알아 리지몬 카파 모다 많이 되기도라. 로야.
로아
아니 뭐다 많이 되기도 남다한데 남다 나르센 남다 신주들에 가시 뭐다 많이 거르적되네.
So some of you might have interest in that. The mind is so busy. Oh, where did I put my car keys? Where is my phone? And because we are not mindful, we lose these things, and sometimes we don't even know where we parked the car in the Richmond car park. And even in Nelson Airport, which is quite a small car park, you can go round and round looking for your car.
2 weeks ago, I went to Nelson Airport. I want to ask something airport, and I went there. And I usually looking there on ABC, which part passing number yellow they see, America C. And I'm coming back, and then one lady, she's looking. Oh, I couldn't find my car. I said, which number do you remember? I never looked this letter. There's a letter. Yes, ABC. This is past number 1. Oh, this is very good. Next time I'm thinking this. And I said, do you have this car? No, my car is old. It doesn't work. I said, what car do you have color? maybe blue. I welcome. And I said, do you have something? Sometimes they put some people. I have some protector. Do you have something like my car has something? He said, I have some flower. Now we go front the car looking for. Okay, okay. uh, and I said, what kind of your cars in chair? Some purple color. I put some purple color. And we looking. Finally, we found it. Yes, and just 그 뒤에 뭐라도 샤디 네 이게 쳐다 ABC 거의 메디 직행나 직행도 알아. 근데 네 근데 스타위나 그 삼로디 제가 다들 다는 벤더도 가디 디 쉬어지 거네 전반된 보자 당당한 뭐 쉬어지 전반된 몸에 외쳐야 가서는 다다가 갈라 샘디 샤마도 아니 샘나 와 par jab to goyo mar wa sem na par jamadu na jeme su palo je goyo mar tak
So sometimes it helps to remember the letter in the car park as the focal point. But what happens with us is because our minds aren't stable and in the present moment, we don't have that mindfulness. It's like it would be okay if you could take a photo and just bring the photo back, but we're not taking good photos, are we? The mind.
어디 이제 지난다 데라 다셈 다다오 가는 데야 좀 셈게 다음에 텐데 가야게 다 탑란 야셔도 우중 공대 탑란데 야셔도 레스로
Yeah, so so that the mind is present in the present moment and the discursive thoughts are not all over the place. Best method is to breathe, focus on the breathing meditation.
다드네 니워디야서 닝지라야데 당한서 오늘 소연나라 먼저 닝지데 매나 다 계제진다 그러봐 닝지유나 아니 가리나요 그 디도고요 아니 말한저 심지 신지 디도글라다 삼나 코나 응아서 망보시 되게 직접 잡된 요 서로다 밀 카타는 요 서로나 아니 지금 밀 마가베 생 서로도 상마 베데 란슈게
Now, the second method of the importance of cultivating compassion. If one has compassion in this life, things tend to go well because one is able to recognize what other living beings are going through. And just by being sensitive and recognizing what other living beings are going through, there doesn't seem to have a chance for ill will to come in the mind or to harm others with speech and so forth, if compassion is there. If not, it's difficult.
바로 그 동해 통인데 동해에 태어나 지만은 삼바디 텐들인지 정말로 별로 좀 제고 말해야 돼. 란슈 레그래서 하는
Yeah. Now that compassion, I think we all have it in an innate manner. The empathy that when you see others suffering, your thought is, oh, it would be great if they were free from suffering. I think we just have that naturally, don't we? We don't have to study it.
다 가려운 거면서나 폐조 동해에다 태워진 게 지금 있어야 되는 거죠. 어디요 말했다.
What we do not have, however, is the further thought, I myself will remove the suffering from those living beings.
다디 매회 준진되네 아니 먼저 다 바로를 낭매셔야다 동해서야다 디용구였다로
And because we don't have that superior thought of acting on compassion, we could look down on others, or exclude them, disregard them.
다 제가 동해에 태워다가 책임이 있어야 될라 아니 셔럽고 그러다 셔럽도
Now, in order for the mind that wishes to remove the suffering of other beings with a personal responsibility, that has to be supported by wisdom, intelligence.
이산디 다 당분간서 페르보당 수수 대화여다매로 뭐라 상마 미임바지바 대화되어지바 동해미되어지바 아니 지 가딩 차네 수술라디데 시부지 가딩 전부 임바도 두 상마 셔럽제고다로 셔럽제고다 하셔서
So what wisdom does, what discriminating intelligence does is, can you connect with others on the level that They are human just like you. And just like, you want to be happy and do not wish to suffer, they want to be happy and do not wish to suffer. And can you also recognize their kindness? All of those cultivations need wisdom as a support.
그다음에 바로 거딘 쳔바 지와랑 안저 바로보단 대화요지 세상 될라다 뒤중 안저 디성도 시디 되나 덴바츠에서 와 시디군에 시디 지랑 안저 시디 고고요나 한 덴바츠 그래서 와
Dempa.
덴바츠 그래서 뭐이네 주디
Are they reality? So therefore, that notion of kindness, it has to be with the people you're connecting with. So the people you're connecting with, you have to recall their kindness. As it is said, if you want to cultivate mental peace, you have to see reality.
그래서 나다 뭐이네 줄라 베나 당기 안저 우중제 수수 룰을 따인데 내 룰이다 지 교도에란신 는 뒤제망고 질렀네 두대어와
Yeah,
아니 내 룰 뒤된당 마음바 저랑저기 디도 저랑저기 미신이 담배는 남시에게 치기 남시 고유당에 룰되어더라
yeah.
아니 미 고유 지도 고유당에 룰되어 칼라당되어 시제도와 제가 아니 제가 네 대화도 요하고는 학과도 피직된데 로이나 투즈 찍라 먼저 창매 내나기 미창매 루 두된데 게 상마 직전에 리첨보지인도로 리첨보지기 가서 류디 리지인도 싱지인도 야 미지기 류인도 랑보체 류든데 인식을 가서 류디 두된데 게 주초제 말아서 당다당 가서 류 카가 임베서도 투제 망보지 제일 가서 류 두된데 게 상마 류지 공부차지 내가 전에 가서 류 전에 다른 뭐 삼는 데워도 알레 라고 삼단으로
So that notion of reflecting on reality, we can begin to introduce awareness of body through breathing. The body is undergoing constant change, isn't it? And on a very subtle level, the subatomic particles are also going through change. But also one's body is affected by things like the weather. The environment can have an effect on the body and other factors as well. So these connections, we can also look at a kind of quantum physics level, and we tend to think our bodies are different from each other, but if we trace those particles back over a vast period of time, those same particles could attribute mountains, trees, even the bodies of elephants. We think we're also different physically, but if you look over a long period of time on a gross level, interdependent.
다 되네 지 경화지 그 삼다나 아니 주저질랑 안 하서야 낭미직도 제차 대든데 중요해요.
Now also if we look on a broad time frame reference in terms of past lives, it's like we're all one family, we're related.
뒤다 먼저 주중에 샘지 강에도 나한테 뭔지 태는데 저가지 이제 요디 쇼팽도 달아.
Yeah, and this is very important when you're going through mental difficulties to have some notion of the possibility of past life.
베나 당에 네 아자 톤이 둔다 당아스도 거라. 아니 저가지는 다 그런 저들레나 마스 투용 그랬어라.
Yeah.
아니 딜리인데 네 지금 카테베 동에 충으로 보다라.
So it's been 5 weeks since my sister passed away, and because there is a notion of continuity, past lives, then we've separated, but we can meet again.
딜리 이제 휴지 동에도 충으로다 생각.
And with that notion, a big point to reduce the suffering of separation.
제가 아니 디 셰럽세 되게 두용이 지금 생기 동에 망보지 마 싫어야 당 아니 디지 다 셰럽이나 아니 동에 총아요나 아니 디 대화 여러 다 간다로.
So therefore we can see how wisdom goes a long way to pacify suffering, and with that wisdom results in well-being and bliss.
다 셰럽이고 디 하자 다디 대전 숨자 하자 참보래로 제가.
But this third category of wisdom is such a vast topic.
Excuse.
We should meditate now. First, we should set the correct intention.
Oh, sorry.
So thinking that whatever actions I do today, physically and verbally, may they benefit others.
Oh yeah, that in the same day. This is the super ning jidela. And the yoga ranshinji change. De shwasra.
That mind of altruism is at the level of the heart in the nature of white light thinking.
The yoga ranshinji yaji. Simla kanandang, dewadang. And she similar yaji. Draw, nubaro, ya paying you, so she will call it. Tindeji sandana, and it pay fendo yaresra.
Thinking that mind and the nature of white light at the heart is in the nature of bliss and joy, gives you delight and potency.
Neta 감자 채널 봐. 그래서 메제나라. 다 강에 치슈디 응저. 동해 강에 동 원에 레인데 먼저 셈 추추다라. 다 뒤에내가라네. 미신다 직식도 잘라베나레. 다지 전중 제외나레. 가래 제외나. 밀라 펜도 치야기 셈로디 데이터베이나 셈촌 투고 말으러. 먼저 수수 셈데 가도이나 밀라 펜도 치고 삼배 상무지 요새베시고 치료기 진 간데스 테웨나 셈데 투고 말해. 먼저 디 참바제나 아니 투도다 nga 사디 간렙사는 찾아래. 마 시행을 펜도 치고서 셈데 텐데요나 셈촌 투고 말해. 제가 디인데 당에 강에 미드나 가르 테웨나 근데기 니 셈상부 요든저 워가버란 신기 셈데 가도 이내네 르 마당에 고변을 냐기 좀 담자시 땜보송으로.
Now we're going to make this stable resolve or pledge that whatever comes up in the context of this life, we will not give up that kindness. What happens with us is that when we suffer, we tend to get upset. For example, if others speak harshly to you or look down on you, these are the conditions under which you could get upset. But if your mind is focusing altruism, you don't get upset by external conditions. The outer conditions don't overwhelm you if you are constantly mindful of altruism. Conversely, if you're constantly fixating on I, then you can lose that mindfulness of altruism. So, with that concern for others' welfare, there's less hallucination.
Hoye, ta kawa komnerwa. Jula thiringi semba. Lubu nyingba la semba sawa yu ten. One semba sawa rawa ta tindege shenla ne samba namda ge pendo chigi semji yu na da hal lewa ta diji gi tsawa dire rawa honzo.
Now, think that on this old body, one has generated a new mental attitude, a new mind, and that mind of altruism is the very root of well-being. Once you have altruism, then well-being follows.
Hoye, ta honzo ujung gomje ginda rawa. Ta ujung gomje de keba tsu zhongbo che de. Zhongbo che ne shio ge jama sam ji keba subu zhongbo den ne subu la ngesu sonye ge subu de ma ja be shuk shibu jamna kale khagra. Dan ko keba de ya sungo de subu de ramba bro shana ane subu la ji khloshi shi ro relax ro ji yongro. Dinde ji de. Dinde de kadula da mig de zomje ne naguni ne ya 간단 테너와 고전에 지마 남배 강배 티서 우리 또 야드네 제 uk차다 파다 다모두 시디지 대셔 아스트라.
Now we will begin to do the breathing meditation for this, checking posture. Posture on the one hand should not be too tight, and on the other hand not too relaxed so that you rest and dull, somewhere in the middle, so that you're just naturally in your place. And eyes gently closed, focusing on the breath and being aware when the breath goes in the nostrils, how, in dependence on the in-breath, the breath goes to the soles, the tips of the feet, and once it reaches there, it comes back out and is exhaled, watching that.
다 우두스야 진짜 고질이야 로도
Mm.
그들 네 레벨 카드도 알고 카드도 알려네 지고 담대에서 레벨 담대에서 아니 지 믹도서 지 담대에서 동그 파고 담대에서도 다 시내도 상어봐 아 헬로 차서 텐제 데지 당셔 고 카드 들 당제 데 또 스테이스 텐트나 야고여스
With these cycles of breath, on the in-breath, recognizing the breath at the head region and, pervading the brain, and any tightness is released around that head and brain region. Same with the eyes. If the eyes are tight, or if the nerves of the face are tight, relaxing them so that whole head region is completely relaxed.
다 dimbe kadu de la yang ukdes ka jen di ji di des ke jmo ra zo mil ke je she di zang la ke zu ji mil ko de bo da de ji go ra ni dimba zu dam de so ro ji je dimbe kadu de ji dam de yo so jing ba de ge zo de dam de so de zo pa shik so ten le shi shi ru cha so ten na ya go ya
Being aware of the breath now on the in-breath, reaching the level of the throat, placing the awareness there, because it's from that level of the throat, around the Adam's apple region, that we speak. We communicate with others, so sometimes it gets tight, so that tightness is released. Be aware of those cycles.
다 디네 닝기 kadu de la ma uk sam dang je ro ta di des mang chidum ne ya go yor ti yin kar sana ngan zo mi mang go chen tin sa ning ge na zo le de do shu chen ge do de
Now, spending a bit more time focusing on the level of the heart when the breath goes there, and placing the mind's awareness with the breath at the level of the heart. Many people have heart diseases. This is beneficial for that.
이 kadu la uk ya chadan tin ni ma dan de be thugo ya be le long la ya ja be so ji ba uk chadan ma dan sha na ni uk di chi ge do ko ani de chim ba dan lo dan de zo la ning da zo la pen do xiu yor se do ba
When you notice the breath, quite strong, inhalations, exhalations, reaching the level of the stomach, and the stomach region begins to move because of that, those breaths really benefit the organs, for example, the liver, the lungs.
da de ne be de wa ne ma che kang be ti ne che chadan ya du de sta ro
Now extending that limit from the navel region right down to the soles of the feet, pervading the body.
다 수부 차장 거네 저 강배 티서 차장 우카시 따제 네 수부 창마배 흘려차 아니 셈바야다 수부 창마 흘려차서 텐주 아성일로
Now, a few cycles of breath, being aware of the breath pervading the entire body from the head to the soles of the feet. And because of that, the body becomes relaxed.
다 욱수 태운데 당서 욱수 땅 신기도 왔다 신기도 알아 수다인데 이제 롱소리 조역소리지 레와 하고도 어디래 하고도나 다 욱담 신기였다
Now, just being aware or recognizing that you're breathing because of the sensation, just being aware of that.
다 대신 배관라네 욱수 태운데 다 믹스에 먼저 디 강바 되나라 먼저 진랍스 라비나 디기오레 디나라다 지 라마자지모 망보 자오르미 첸당 라마서르미 첸다 근데 천대르미 첸다 라마자지모 망보 페 자지모스나 줄로 똑과 연결되네요.
Yep.
똑과 되게 뉴바디 데데 요인은 그 디체는 아주 내도 낭배치를 진압해야 되러와 기부탄바 단다디 요래 람게 내제 야 레르드 권람시 스토베르와 권람
Yes.
톱디상가 권람바디 사저 카 대위나 사저디 예상마 최대한 신 아주 차세야 내차로 진고 진질랍도 요랬을
Lasso.
권람이 표현한 데도
Lasso. Now, having recognized breath, we can say when we breathe in, there are blessings from being in this place. In this place, many lamas or gurus have visited here, taught here, such as His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, Truden Rinpoche, and these beings have high spiritual insights. High in the sense that they've cultivated a high degree of consciousness awareness and obtained what's called a true cessation or a stopping of suffering. So it is said that when such a being stays in a place, that place is blessed like a stupa. So we can imagine that.
근데 인사를 단다고 표도와 공부하든지 돌아와
Yeah.
저런 카시 나데 데드는 소화시라 용모다 콘소 카시 질러레디 사제딜라 소화시 레기도 라고도
Ale.
미망고 인데 라고도 질러는 레인데 사제데 직도스 라고도 근데 디 진랍인데 여러 콘소 표도와네 공부하든지 도나 믹세 질레야 가서 소화 직 저메시지 레야요 와 저도 진랍세야 돼 어딘데 인사로 제가 다 딘데기 아니 디메나 당서 딘데 데 티징 좀 딘데 예송셔요 도망고 베자다 로레 티징 데세 잡여로 디긴 다게 라뷴디 데데요 다 시리단 데와시에나로 다게 라뷴디 데데요 아니 우타연디 수타연디 딘데 달라뷴 야가데 수나고는 수텐제 디 템베 또게 아니 수수 셈게 식스 스트레스 다 anxiety 다 depression 다 두수 상마이나 두수 바 시제 우파 파 턴도 디제스 파 턴네 셈바베 땅마 차서 텐 언데스 담담도나 베펜도에로
It seems to be the case in Tibet. There are what are called holy places, special places. When you go to these monasteries, I didn't feel it, but people that came from outside said that there's some special feeling there. So they couldn't explain it, but there was some kind of special feeling resonating at that place. We can call that blessings, the blessing of the place. But also, in the context of this hall, the Buddha Dharma has been taught here, the sutras, the spoken word of Buddha, and sound has form, which has waves, even on a scientific level. So that has a particular potency, those waves. So when you breathe that in dependence on that potency, any stress, anxiety, or mental disturbance is pacified on the out breath, and the mind has well-being. Please meditate on that for a few minutes. Now, having conviction that the body is relaxed, the mind is clear and blissful. Yeah. So it's the case that often we try and meditate, but our minds are dispersed outside, isn't it? Or you might be like half on the breath and half distracted. Now increasing the speed of breath, so faster breaths, because that helps reduce that discursive thought. So and also gently opening the eyes, naturally placing them on the bridge of the nose, because if we meditate a long time with the eyes closed, we could become sleepy or dull. So once you've recognized those faster breaths, in a relaxed way, begin to count to 10 cycles. Now I'm breathing in, now I'm breathing out. That's one cycle, so 10 of those. When you reach 10, just observe mind's peace and place it there. And if you observe some quiet and peace of mind, that is a small liberation. Gently eyes open.
다 우크랑 가봐 두고도 딜렀다네로 데 시티 스테이트네 왜
Now, just by observing, being aware, where does breath go for a few cycles?
셈나 남도 다 말샤고나 디 가야라 베진 치고 말해 디 약보리 디두자래 타니 치고 말해 가리 샤나 샤주샤위나 아니 뭐네 감정에서 태그레스로
If discursive thoughts come in the mind, don't push, thinking this is good, this is bad. Just let them go and rest in that.
다 디제디 탈란디 당조 저 삼바템보서야 당 군롱 차네가 저다 개와디 랍침부차야 텐데가나다 니치 셈툭딩요 셈남도 셈다 만도 텐야도 마 시야게 다 탈란 비콤디제디 잡레스로
That is a method to cultivate stability of mind. The motivation creates waves of good merit. So one wants to pacify the scattering of mind.
다 저드네 테렌디 우중을 덴베 닝지 검단 잠바다 닝지 검단데 네 데이터 동네 냠린서 오래 가시에다 냠린 책이 줄때 다 다리 두두시 랍샤나 제메 차나서 다 뒤져 망고에서 검 잡혀 오라라
Now, next, we're looking at, in terms of the breath, cultivating the great compassion, loving kindness with the twofold taking and giving practice. Some of you, I think, already do it, but because we have 2 months break, those who are interested can practice, so I'll say a few words.
다 당보디 동래니고 배마지 렘베 코네라네 잠시데 당고 옥추 당연데 동해추 렘바 옥파 단데 대화대화 데려봐다 동래세 데려봐다 저
Yeah.
다디 뒤중은 저 대화대 수수 중로잖아 삼다 미 동해 밀라 때다 되고 말들 밀라 동해 중나 나마로 나와 당겨 말아 다다리 왜 삼단다 별로 가르바 배 동해의 주인은 대화대 파데 당보 수술을 삼당 그래서 수술을 와 렘베 코네라네 잠시데 수수다 말아도 동 본다 그 동해 요야 돼 주인으로 말아도 상무 가셔 단다 동해 요면 요거든데 요나 수수게 다 셈나라 단당한 좀 류기 전에다 동해 매우스리도 상말 아니 셈게 잘 삼단다들 다 하실 동해 요시브로 와 저저이나 저저 주일에 저저 파시리 다들 꼭주 단데 수수 동해 저저 주일에 동해 동 건다 그 동해 주일에 산인 그 동해 마음배 수수 동해 되게 주일에 주일에 당연 건데 외가버랑 신주와 뒤에 외어다는 신변일로데 외가버랑 신주와 외디에 배 지금 대화 제된 요시와 우주 땅연데 태연데 수수 동해 되게 상마 되나라마 팀제 되게 외가버랑 신디 동해에 문바도 없을 때 봐 매워차 안 뒤에 차베도 그 대화지 영의 전주람도 기억해서 대화 집회 대화 배울 때는 아니 우파 나는 대화도 파당 대화도 파다네 안 수수 드는 건다 산이 마음배 수술 아니 감제 배 동해매 대화 요지 차선 체 당보 수술라 수수 냠 수술라
Yeah.
냠는ቸው레스
Yeah. So now, this practice of taking and giving, or receiving and giving, the Tonglen, is taking suffering and giving well-being. As it says in the teachings, these two ride on the breath, or they alternate on the inhalation and exhalation. But to begin the practice with yourself as a reference point. So at the current juncture, we tend to not care if others suffer too much. We're only concerned with our own well-being. But using this practice, we become more concerned for others suffering, and we want to give them our happiness. But in order to do that, first we use ourselves as a reference point. So for example, when you breathe in, you imagine that you're taking on the difficulties you might experience this evening, so that you're experiencing it now, and then latterly, tomorrow and throughout the course of this life, you are taking on those difficulties. So you can imagine that you're removing, respectively, any physical difficulties you might experience, like tonight, tomorrow in this life, and also mental ones. It's very good to think that when on the in-breath, as we mentioned before, there is at the level of the heart white light in the nature of uncontrived altruism. So that when you breathe in tonight's, tomorrow's, and this life's suffering, you're clearing away all of that, dissolves at the level of the heart, like light clearing away darkness. And this practice is commensurate with turning adversity into the path of enlightenment.
네 수술라
Yes, I remember first you focus on taking your own difficulties, future difficulties, not others. You focus on yourself.
우파단주 대화되네 가져되다 대화에 된데 대화 톱된지 지금 미질 상하다 저와
Susurangla.
수수 도공 건다산이 마음배 가져러
Yeah. So therefore, on the out breath, you imagine that one, that person that is you, tonight and tomorrow and for the rest of this life experiences well-being, bliss.
다드네 수수 예연을 예배 미든데 동해 연조든데 요라 디나 아니 디네 준비다 주저유는 배 미래에 셋업 전에 야고라
Yeah, each one.
아마 미직 수 셋업 냐 미니 좀 숨다 도스잖아 야고요래
Yeah. Now, using as your reference point those to your left and right, there are beings around you going through suffering, and if you have time, it's good to recall each person's difficulties individually, like one person, two people, three people.
다 주타는데 동해디 레온데 가시 다 마지부채 상담은 당기 외역을 하신데 그 짱마 세운지 동해디 줄레고 잠지디 짱마 세베도 그 대화 숙처를 드러내로 그래서 경에 전주람도 키워서 어디로 봐다
Okay. Now, some of you might feel a bit upset at the notion of taking on the suffering of others when it alights at the level of the heart. But if you think about it, that suffering is dispelled by the light, the white light at your heart. So therefore, this is what we mean by using negative conditions in the path to enlightenment.
다드네 미탐제 상담 학과도 진상 점블링 나다 so political address tumbling thola da nyanga chambu thorwa
Yeah.
ta yongda geda cha so ari gi sinjin dang jana gi sinjin dang korea dang ukraine dang russia dang kanda da 개갑 수수에 선생님도 신나서 미팅이 잠블링 돌아 다니는 거 더라 어디서 미드즈게 왜 삼바 마른 것도 저 태용제 군주질에 봐 닝지게서 근데 상당도 위나 왜 편도 열어
Now, when you breathe in, extending your focus to all living beings in the world, particularly those that are in positions of leadership, politicians, for example, that can tend to waste opportunity for the leaders of America, China, Korea, Russia, Ukraine, imagining that when you breathe in, they have sometimes invalid thoughts or negative emotions, and in dependence on those, they waste others' time, opportunities. So imagine now that those invalid minds are dispelled and they themselves cultivate compassion.
다드네 튼 밀라 삼다네 튼룰 삼다 도도 제도 semje 탐제 그동에 주 uksu 당데 아니 오파단데 도 상월 대화데 근데 최종 된거다
Now, extending one's focus beyond the human realm to the animal realm and then to all living beings, that when you breathe in, you're taking on all of their sufferings. And when you breathe out, endowing them with well-being and bliss.
어야 다 두스chen 닝제게 네 닝제 냠네 체나 다 두용 알아서 로다 디 로자나 울레덴베데 닝제 uksudan윤데 추태윤데 닝제 미고 제도단 우파단데 대화되는 참배 미고 제도는데 참바다 닝진이기 냠네 우 중국간에 냠네 야에 공배다는데 참바다 닝지유나 수수유라 동해요 스케요 말고네 신으로
Yeah. So that if you practice that, it is a method of mind training by riding the breath, whereby you cultivate great compassion and loving kindness, because on the inhalation you're focusing on removing the suffering and its causes from beings, and on the exhalation, on the out breath, you're focusing on endowing them with well-being, the loving kindness. So it is by when you become habituated with that, it is the method for cultivating great compassion and loving kindness. Now, if you cultivate those two, there's no room for suffering.
다 드네다 먼저 닝지 면람자 semje 신지 동에 다 태워지기는 semje 신지 동에 태워지 누가 술도 상당 다 계정 보셔래 다 싫어 딜라 제공세 거래다
Next comes the cultivation of wisdom, discriminating intelligence. So then one has the thought, if one could remove this suffering from all living beings, that would be great. I will do it. At the current juncture, do I have that ability? This is where wisdom comes in.
세상다 semje 신지 중기 동에 세워지야라 다 녜라 수수 동에 세면은 semje 동에 세도면
Well, in order for you to have the ability to remove the suffering of all living beings, first you have to remove your own suffering situation. Without doing that, how could you possibly help others?
다 디티 유응하는서 란진진 숙천부셔 요인자 어디 상무단단 디간 란진지디야 대간을 봐 자식이나 란진지디 꾸논지기 아니 신기 동에 세야간을 봐 로가 먼저 수수 동에 세야당 수수 대화도 비야디 ngarang chidi mayimba semje shenji chidi insam damwe na semje shenji chidi nge dungi sego do semje shenji chidi nge dung tadi yang chi semje shen pechwe chena ane rangjin chidi gyabgyo chin sur charo tiya kulung zangma go yore
So here, for this to take place, other versus self, we tend to fixate on ourselves a lot, called self-cherishing. But that has to go through a change of attitude. So then if you train, okay, so I'm going to remove my own suffering and cultivate my own well-being for the benefit of others. Right there then, because it's based on concern for others, it is a countermeasure to your own self-fixation. Yeah, so right there, you can reflect, in dependence on the breath, how kind other beings are. Yeah, because if the house and environment are clean, breathing is easy. If the house and environment are dirty and kind of messed up, we sigh. Yeah, so you see right there the connect we have with breathing process.
다디 삼루단단디 네 심진신 탐제 라니레야다 펜도 침보임바 내가 부디기 되나레 타도 부디기 되나레 로 타도 부디기스나 산제 고만 더 저데 잔주sem나 딘데 더고레 잔주sem데 심진신라 잠복권 잔주sem데 닝제라 딘데 요고 닝지 첨부 닝제데 쓸라 딘데 제고스나 심진기 동해라 민네 닝지 제고라
Yep.
아니 타도 부디기 되야데 심진을 되는 제고다. 다 내가 왜 말하는 칼라사야네 캄보디아에네 칼리나다 도와지 상물로다 도스진지 신라 되는 메시지게 도스진지 미신지 라볼마 된베 잘라다 칼라다 가리나 사야민도 비주시야민도 하더라.
And then cultivating that concern for others or recognizing their kindness, how is that cultivated? To reflect how beings benefit you in a temporal and ultimate sense. Well, ultimately, the cause of Buddhahood is bodhicitta, which in turn has as its root loving affection for all beings and great compassion. Great compassion, once more, is the thought to remove the suffering that beings are going through personally. So without living beings, there's no great compassion, there's no focal point. That's on an ultimate cause of Buddhahood, but even relatively, we are dependent on other living beings for our food, for our shelter, for all of that. If not, we couldn't survive.
미당, 튼도당, 두저게 심나라 대화 되거든. 지금 오고게 심나게 되지 되도면도 심 되지 있어야 돼. 상로당제 두야를 셈이지. 녀야민도 하실로.
So that bliss upon which we are dependent on humans and animals is not going to be a physical thing. It is going to be attitudinal, the mental change, not physical. Yeah. So this is where the function of wisdom and intelligence comes in. And this is where it helps to reflect on the fact that all phenomena are interdependent, they are dependent arisings. Right, so each and every phenomena are interdependent, but also there's a level of causality, cause and effect with them.
다다 수수샘디 가오곰 믹싱을 한저 촉시에체 가오곰 간 요버들 촉시에체 하코와지 안아서 보내잖아. 점블링다 단다 뒤지 다라라 내다 망부지 있잖아. 빼면서 야고래 기부디 내다 야고 임바 셴나 아니 가오용 거 봐. 근데 디마신 바제 안딜레 하바지 존나 알아 디용 거래. 딜레 하바지 존나 디용 거서나 다들 용야 거라 요 말이라. 단다 여봐 될라 적시 제 가오거나 아니 셈나라 다 오늘 알아 벨라기 레시아스로 셈나라 오늘 집에 이쯤 바라보지. 용야 여러고
And in terms of that well-being, of interdependence, the past is gone. We cannot bring that back. What we can get from the past is a degree of experience through our study. But secondly, it's very important we recognize what we have now and value that. Just to be satisfied with what we have is enough cause to rejoice in, rather than to think, oh, I need more, if only I got this and that. Well, there's no end to that. But if you value what you have and you're content.
다들 마음발라다 계지셔야지 먼저 밀라 되어야 보셔야지 계정물에도
Yeah, but what's important is in the future is that we make good connections with humans and non-humans.
밀파 수승은 딱 계지셔야지 단단거에서 유니 미주들라 소바곰 닝지곰 나 아니 되어야고 용거래 마음발 되어야고 용거래 아 소바곰마도나 가고 싶어랬다
So that means that those humans that we're directly connected to, we practice forbearance with them, compassion with them, then our futures will go well. If we're not patient with others, difficult.
내주 때시 중화다가라 파페 주페 변에 내주 타주셔요.
Yeah. So not just kind of running away or going hither and thither when things get difficult.
그런 그 내주세요. 네 믿어고 삼다나 야보다 믿어보러.
Yeah, in that context, one should think on impermanence.
그 주어드베는 신경이라도 하든 삼아.
Things are compound. Things are by nature going through change.
어디 딘데스다 먼저 드린 저 템바템보스야다. 삼바템보스야다. 닝지 꿈이야. 하고도 셔럽 보면은 또 배제 롭종 셔고 롭종 하고도 능베 따르고다. 생감 그거도 배제도들로 tumnayagoyore da dingsan da beja jing cho tep cho yole melodin lo jing ngone te tep 부 da wo jigo chenbo den lo ro ne tebe ji 내가 ji doa ji 가서 그래 지 좀 그서 그러던데 전장로 되는 주주 졸라로 와죠.
And what's important then is that today we've looked at the cultivation of the mind being stable by being mindful and the cultivation of great compassion. This third point, the wisdom, is very important in the context of Buddha Dharma. It is good, but if we want to cultivate the wisdom, we need to study dependent arising in Buddhism, but also the nature of the mind. And if you're going to study the nature of the mind, it's good to read a book that's quality, that has some pith. It is not so good to read all sorts of stories and novels.
이런 망부지 탭로엘라 가보도 알아.
Yeah, I know people like to read a lot.
제가 탭지도 됐으려나. 하나가 뭐 로르기 거 탭지다. 이만에 단다이나 치료라. 네 단다이로 식지부지냐이나야. 로다면다 코다면다 용도다.
So I have a text on mind and cognition from many years back that I carry with me, and the words are the same, but when you read it from time to time, meaning changes.
진짜 난 외출 딘데요래. 지 칼라 사비는 대점은 심루로해라.
Buddha Dharma, studying Dharma could be like that. You're still eating, but the taste gets better. As you know.
배는 직 딘데지요라. 나대지 제메지. 마음에 뒤마서서.
Yeah.
심 다다와 간다 샤스도.
Yeah.
다 칙디가라라 저나서 니마 삼노다로 니마레레 코다메다메다메다 메레 수스심라 초와게다메다메다메다 요래 제가 낭베게 슝기 칙도서 빼면서 띵서고 쉬어지래 상무 가서 다나마 다 덱슨 상다 매드니 먼저 비치신다 얘는 찍로 산다 논이 두면도 낭베 베제도 된대 요마라 믹스에게 지나서 이 라마종가바게 제르무 친기 잠베 베제 균요 된대 요나 Zurich law that
There's a saying in the teachings that says that don't revolve over what's happened in the past and don't fixate over future plans. Abide in the present moment. Because what you will find is day in, day out, so many feelings and emotions come up. But if you're able to heed that advice of being in the present moment, in that context, the Buddha Dharma is very deep. It can go as far as you want to go. You'll never get a sense that that's enough, particularly the teachings of Lama Tsongkhapa. No.
The Bejaden Yorada, then they do us all down and the Beja Chia does the Yurtoya Morara.
Yeah. So, those texts that were composed, such as in praise of dependent arising, those that are at hand, and the larger ones we might not be able to read.
Oh yeah, that Tare Janzo Dawani Rangjong Manse Yorda.
So there's plenty to be going on with homework in the next 2 months. Self work.
Jimmy dinda Dawani Jelsulida, Ted Loshishi or Shadan Tigorda.
So you come back in 2 months and you should kind of rock up more relaxed.
Yeah, nee on the shower, then you ding on the Melomia was
Yeah. So we'll probably stop today's session there. I will say some prayers of dedication.
Okay, on the Tanda Chanjuk Sim, some game, but the work over and that's on them Sayag, that bet lap Chishu, another Michigi the colors over down the community mean you should some colors to do. Gubja the Michi color, the Gubja Yaga, Troadi community, the Glenduro, the day in Chimudoro.
Yeah.
Take her, there was na. Mimango, Sonam, the Yorwa, digging nobody Yagan will. Then I sing on some Mimango in him do Gomja Mase, Mishin, Semji Ranichi woman, but Semji Tamje doing some time. Sim the newer cherry in body. The Pandaro, the Yoris, some down the road.
Now, we generated an altruistic heart of bodhicitta, visualizing at our hearts with white light. There was that altruism. This is the best for cultivating merit, good spiritual energy. It is similar to cooking food for oneself, no matter how good it tastes. But if you cook it for 20, 30 people and it's just lentils, that tastes so good because those people together have a collective merit. And more so when we meditate together. When we meditate together, it has a more of a potency. Plus, if we've focused on all beings with altruism, that's even more potent.
Oh yeah, they give it our day, and it's tumbling shitty. You have that John and you, Magduk, she, Cage shitty. Chapsy will legachini to Zoda. That me, Benjo Chubud is tumbling to Trola than Yangadoro. Chapsy Chigo, Remindo, Benjo Chubud is a yanko. That Pesha Maway, and it's here zone, time and check the rock. Then the Nyaneding on the Missy Juma di Geredo. To do that, Missy Juma di Yangadora.
Dedicating these roots of merits that we've accumulated to world peace, the pacification of war, upon which the problems of those without, like poor people tend to get worse. Like the wealthy people have all these methods to get richer, but those left behind, often animals and poor people, suffer.
아니 지 중에 내지 다 뜻이로야. 아니 지 다 내림도 봐 줘시. 아니 지 미망보지라 칼라라야. 맨주 말하니 맨주 둘로 말하니 둘로. 강바 말하니 강바. lega marani lega ani thobu thomu marani la thobu thomu ra ro thobu thomu goro ngo samal ro
Yeah.
ani ji ya mi mongbo ji da su su phama binje kha thewe dungye mongbo shibi do do su ma ya oda dinde jin da changme yula ya ji chamba da ningji ji ketwe ina ani ngo dungye mongbo ji shiru go che dan simje tamje yula cham님 ji geje nyu de ni je zambuling de shidi yong sho 아니 어디 레스 삼바상무지 창마를 줄을 깨워셔 세네 어디 melambde javjange tsikashishtenro.
We also intend that the elements are in harmony, so the disturbed elements are pacified and contagious diseases are no more. Those that need food find it, and also those that need to be healed with medicine. Those without clothes find clothing, and those without a place to live find that, particularly those unemployed as well. And then those that need friends, may they find them. We each need friends. Then there's the suffering of those that are separated from their family and loved ones. May that be no more. In short, if beings could cultivate loving kindness, great compassion in their own hearts, then the sufferings of the world would abate and there would be world peace. I will pray to that end. Please dedicate likewise.
So now the damje boy command you done kadana dan chivela. Sive zole do jo kyo di you do da lama sanje to jin do ji yamalo. Te sala go sho kinan deve so so pende nanga ko sho do na bu ye do. 동해 계속 겸보라쇼 천재 오단 지시샤보단 지지 이런 것이 소 겨워준세다 이제다 탐제적 외진주 전부 천주 선조는 뭐지 마제바나지 겨워년 밤에 와요 고뇌고뇌 배워라쇼 겨워고뇌 안달라마다 데메지 별라런주네 사달란지인데라전에 도지장제 공부니도 쇼. Okay, thank you very much.